Happy New Year to you.
Same to you, my brother. And many happy returns.
This is a question from my son. He wants to know where you get this stock of proverbs and how you are able to fashion them to any situation whatsoever.
Allah Almighty in His Almighty Allah. I think it's just a gift. Sometimes we just speak and it comes as you go. So it's like our people say, the man, you don't show an indigent the way to his house. He already knows it because it comes from there. So it's natural. The thing that has been given to me is inside me. You speak, it comes.
Is it from the richness of the Dagbani language, the Dagomba culture?
Sure, it is. But it also takes a bit of an effort. I am one person who, anytime I go home to the constituency and others, I like to fraternize with the old people. When you sit with the old people and you speak with them, they are a bastion, a fountain of wisdom. And I'm sure that I really feel sad that the younger generation, we are not exploiting a lot of the wisdom and talents and expertise of our older people. And so I'm sorry some of them die with this very precious knowledge. But I am one person who tries to always pay homage to them and listen to drink from their deep-seated fountain of wisdom. And they have a lot to teach us.
If you could draw a rich Dagomba proverb from your well of wisdom to symbolize what happened on December 7th, 2024, which of those proverbs?
See, we said that the MPP was like a person who has died in the market. You don't need to announce his funeral. The MPP had become like a house that had fallen. You don't ask whether the roof is still standing. For arrogance, for all the wrong things, Kafi, for the total mess of our economy, never in the annals of our country's history.
A country that is not broke, and he quoted many indicators. The country is on a rebound, gross reserves, 2 billion.
But first and foremost, you heard the fitting, just a bit of a response from our leader, that the true verdict of the state of the nation was what happened on December 7th.
Talking about that, was all his word? Did you know he was going to say what he said that day?
That was in the domain of the leader. He decided what to say and he crafted it. And I believe it wasn't a contribution anybody gave him. It came from him. And that's when they say evidence is better than an oath. You see, it's not the longevity of the king that matters. It's his deeds. And the deeds of Nana Akufo-Addo states it all. This is the worst president in... they were even charitable and said he's the worst president in the history of the Fourth Republic. Nana Akufo-Addo is the worst president in the history of our country. Never have we had such a very grossly incompetent, inept, insensitive, wicked, corruption-ridden president. Take all the negative attributes. Nana Akufo-Addo is inside it. Kafi, can you remember when President Mahama was exiting office? Okay, the CD was 4 cedis to $1. Alright? Inflation was 15.2%. Our total indebtedness from independence to 2017, Nana Akufo-Addo was taking power, was 120 billion. Index was about 16. Inflation related to inflation was about 60%. Ghana serviced all our international obligations, including our interest payments and debts. Never did we default in the payment of our debts. Now bring it to what Nana Akufo-Addo came. He indicated that this country is rich, yet Sikasu is so come the ally.
Rich, but
and
we're hungry.
We have the money, we don't need to borrow. From 120 billions, they took us to 865. Can you imagine? They alone added about 740 billion to 54.1%. Unprecedented in the history of the Fourth Republic.
But then he would tell you that he has brought it back down to the 20s.
Who took it up in the first place? He's comparing himself with himself. Is that a sensible comparison? You must compare with others. Let him compare with President Mahama. He's saying that he took us to 54 and brought us to 25. We should clap for you. You took us to 54. Who took us? Is it not him? Is it not through his legendary incompetence and ineptitude that he took us to 54? So what would you say about him if you bring it to 25? What commendation should we give you? Are you not the same person? Okay? And look at the mess. Ghana has become a pariah in the international community. Nobody wants to do business with us because we are not credit worthy. All the credit rating agencies Fitch, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, all of them downgraded us to junk. And I'm sure you know junk. If you are degraded to junk, what does it mean? Junk. Rubbish. You have made rubbish of the economy. So it means that Nana Akufo-Addo, they made rubbish of our economy. So no surprisingly, that is why the lives of our people were in such deep-seated levels of misery. Work diligently for this country as public servants and others who had saved for their retirement. He confiscated their monies. Through this so-called domestic debt exchange, he impoverished people who had sacrificed in this country, who worked for this country, to the point that old men and women had to hold walking sticks to demonstrate. This is the biggest shame on Nana Akufo-Addo, that he can subject our senior citizens who have sacrificed all their life in working for the country to this very sorry state.
Were you in Parliament on Friday?
Yes.
Did you not feel sorry for him, looking at him, listening to
Ama Akufo-Addo? I got angry. I left the chamber. I was not listening to him again, because I felt so angry that what he was portraying, imposed on them, sitting down to watch him say the things that he said. I thought that the decent thing Nana Akufo-Addo should have done, first and foremost, was to render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians.
But you came back in time to listen to
tell Ghanaians that he's very sorry for the misery he has imposed on this country.
You know,
Ghanaians are in a hurry to see his back. This is one of the worst presidents that ever traversed this country. Horrible, he was completely inept and he's so insensitive. A president can come and look people in the eyes like this and tell them this kind of stories when you have subjected them to this kind of hardship.
You are speaking with so much passion, A.B.A.
I'm sure that if you were to go down to the people and speak to them, a lot of people, even if they got Nana, they would have stoned him. People are so dead angry about what he has done to them in 8 years. They are so angry about that, and not even having a fine opportunity like this to apologize to them, to assuage their pain. And then you go and you are saying this kind of things to them, portraying that the economy has grown. Kafi, if the economy has grown, doesn't it reflect in the lives of the people? If we are growing as much as 7%, will that not reflect in our lives? And the president come to look at in the face and tell these blatant lies. I mean, what should the people of this country do to him? So you don't rub salt into the wounds of people when they are so anguished. I thought that you would have offered them some palliative by apologizing to them. Well, I meant well, but things didn't go the way I thought would go. I'm very sorry. I apologize. I show remorse. Even for the people to consider that whether they and Ghanaians will never forgive him for taking them through such hardship.
So his 8-year tenure comes down to a couple of hours now. It will be all over.
Yes.
And the election has been over for the past, it was 30 days ago, that was the election. So we're looking forward to a new administration.
Yes.
What are the biggest challenges that President Mahama is going to face?
You see,
because you've painted quite a gloomy picture.
Yes. Kafi, the first thing I have even said to our party, and my biggest fear is that we have not yet discovered the full extent of the rot under this government. They are sitting on a lot of rot. They have hidden, discovered the true extent of the rot. And I can tell you, Kafi, mark me down, I'm telling you today, when the rot begins to come out, Ghanaians will have even a bigger shock. Because this current level of deprivation that they are going through is for me not even the end of the story. Bigger rot is coming. And the biggest problem I see for President Mahama is how to deal with the expectations of Ghanaians. But there are many people who think within the shortest possible time, the economy can be put right. I have no doubt in my mind that President Mahama has a visionary grasp of what he wants to do. The 24-hour economy, boost in agricultural production, the 10 billion that they will contribute to stabilizing the economy and making life better for Ghanaians. But I can dare tell you that it's going to take a lot of hard work. Because even you see the extent of the destruction of the economy, my brother, is not any small measure. That it will take a lot of hard work and time to be able to repair, to bring it to a level where it can work to alleviate the plight of the people. But I'm very confident that within the next 4 years, His Excellency President Mahama, by the end of his term, will be miles better than the hopelessly incompetent MPP government that he came to take over. And I'm sure that President Mahama is is a man of humane qualities. He cannot look the good people of this country and allow corruption to fester. I'm sure you can imagine his record in fighting corruption. Nana Akufo-Addo for 8 years has not demonstrated an iota, a scintilla of commitment to fight corruption. Corruption reading this in under Nana Akufo-Addo, supervised by him. That is why they have called him the chief clearing agent for corrupt acts, because he will never even touch one of his appointees, because he himself has been complicit in corrupt acts.
Is there not any policy that you can point to in the interest of fairness that, listen, you know what, yes, I don't like the man, I don't like his policies, yes, but this one is successful and we can build on it?
Kafi, I can only tell you that what he did different from what we would have done, and which we even started, was the free HHS, the payment, and that one, let me even segregate it. It is about the payment of the fees so that people can go to the patronized senior high school free at that tuition level. Tuition. And that was tuition. Okay? But for the rest of the SSS, you can see how they have degenerated the system into a traffic light system. Students go to school for 3 weeks and come and sit home for 3 months. What type of education system is that? What are you going to learn in 3 weeks that you come and sit home in 3 months? What kind of education system is that? You go there, the curricula is not there. You go there are no textbooks. You go there are no teaching and learning aids. It's the teachers and others who have to improvise to teach students. Okay? Capitation grants and others have been owed for so many years. So you see that even now, Charles, when the government is leaving power, Charles has even indicated that they should not open the schools. Schools should not reopen. But they are using the fiat of the power of government to force them to reopen schools. Because they are in such a horrible state. They have run down our educational system today they don't have legs to stand on. So you can talk about the payment of the fees. SS, that is a very good policy. That payment of the fees is good. But the rest of the education, they have run it down so badly that it has lost the essence and the value for which education has been met. And so we can say without any iota of doubt that that is the only area that you could talk about that he has done something. He's paid for the tuition fees of students, and those whose parents could not afford have been bailed out, and for that matter, it's a good policy. That's all. Beyond that, Kafi, you can hardly point from economic management to our environment.
How about Agenda 111? In the SONA, I heard him say that encouraged President Mahama to continue with the building of those hospitals, Agenda 111 hospitals. He also admitted that he wasn't able to bring them all up to speed,
Kafi,
but continue.
Yeah, can you tell me in 8 years, if you start a hospital in 8 years, can't you finish it? Show me one hospital this government started in 8 years that they have been able to finish. One. I'm not asking you for two. One. Just one hospital under the MPP for siphoning monies. They wanted to use it to steal monies. Go and see that not one single one has been completed and ready. When? That's about 3 years ago. And then you're telling me in 3 years you cannot finish one hospital? In 3 years, Kafi, you can't finish one hospital in 3 years. And they cannot show that the Agenda 111 hospitals, even one, they have finished. Not one. And you are now asking your successor to endeavor to finish the hospitals for you. In how many years did you start it that you can't finish it?
So for you, a damning verdict on President Akufo-Addo's...
I mean, that's what I'm saying, that this is the worst president in the history of our country. Worst. I'm not talking of the...
That's for him.
That is why I'm saying that with President Mahama, the good people of this country have given him a ringing mandate to liberate them from the excruciating hardships of the MPP. When the economy is revamped, jobs will come for the youth. I'm sure you are already aware of the number of initiatives, the 10 billion big push that the president has initiated, the vocational and technical program that he has initiated, into which billions of dollars are going into the agricultural program President Mahama is bringing with the establishment of the special mechanization centers across the districts of all the 260 districts of this country, and other such initiatives that are going to create jobs. The Kwalugu irrigation, that Dr. Baumia said they had taken $12 million. And Kafi, listen to this. $12 million that they took for the Kwalugu irrigation thing. You go there, you only found 2 trips of sand. Nothing.
You counted the trips?
2 trips of sand. I tell you, the journalists, our colleagues went there. They went to the side there, and that is what they saw. They reported it. Okay? And that he's working to enhance the quality of life of the people. This is what he did to his people. $12 million and nothing can. They have chopped the money. If you ask them, they say they were doing feasibility studies and that for $12 million.
So I'm sure the Operation Recover All Loot is going to be quite busy.
All of them. And let me tell you that number one on President Mahama's agenda will be accountability. They are going to account for every peswa, for every project that they have taken. And not just that. Not just that. People lost their lives in the last election. Every peswa on every project will be accounted for.
Finally, there are some who are worried that because of the overwhelming majority of NDC MPs in Parliament, Mr. Mahama can actually change the constitution and decide to run for more than a term. What do you say to people who speak or think like so?
I would say without any item of doubt that President Mahama is not as overzealous and power drunk as some people are. I can tell you that if he had been President Nana Akufo-Addo, maybe he must have contemplated that, if he had those kinds of numbers. But I can tell you that President Mahama is going to use the overwhelming majority he has to do constructive work for this country. President Mahama is going to ensure that that mandate is used to reconstruct this country. It's going to be used to rebuild, to reset and rebuild this country. And so even in the quality of legislation that will be brought for passage in the House, I can tell you that this NDC majority is going to be responsible, very responsive. And they will scrutinize legislation very well to make sure that we don't behave as irresponsibly as the MPP did. And that majority will be used to make sure that, yes, there's speedy passage of legislation.
For Sagnerego in the northern region, who will you miss? What will you miss most about Parliament? And what are you looking forward to do after tomorrow?
Kafi, let me take the benefit of this opportunity from your outfit to say a very big thank you to the Blichina people of the Sanaru Constituency. They've given me 12 unbroken years of service to them in this parliament. There can be no greater satisfaction. And Kafi, let me make it clear. I had been a journalist for nearly 30 years before I migrated into politics. I went into politics with the belief that I wanted to serve my people. I had gone around and had seen areas where it was possible. Kafi, let me make this point to you. When I became member of parliament, there were about 25, 26 communities in my constituency that had never seen light shine in their communities. There were more than 32 communities that had no potable drinking water. There were 25 or 28 areas that had no schools, where children were walking about 3-4 kilometers to school daily. There was only one hospital at the route that in my first term as member of parliament, when I was voted for in 2012, by 2014, all the communities that I told you had no light. Within 2 years, we had given electricity supply to all the communities that I'm talking about. Unprecedented in the annals of our country, and I've thrown that challenge, supply, bring it out.
How did you do it?
Sanargu was the only one.
How did you do it?
Yes, because, number one, by the grace of Allah Almighty and by my closeness to President John Dramani Mahama, when he became president, my constituency voted the highest percentage for President Mahama in 2012. 82% of the vote in Sanargu went to President Mahama in the presidential election. And so I took it to President Mahama and told him that this is the Sanargu for you. The Sanargu that is energy minister were able to electrify all the communities within that period. So have we provided 32 communities with potable drinking water. Now they have potable drinking water in their homes. Kafi, I'm proud to say that it is under my regime as member of parliament that in giving electricity to the areas, I built schools in rural areas, and for the first time in the history of, even in the region, they were teaching people in the village computer literacy in my constituency. Okay? When I became member of parliament, there was not a single tar road. Under my duty, now you can't count the number of tar roads in my constituency. The same as schools. I've built about 80 schools in my constituency. First with the intervention of government. And then when we went into opposition, I built 6 more schools. When the government, the sitting government itself could not even build 2 schools. Only one.
You built more schools than the government?
Even in opposition. Okay? And I can count the schools for you that are built in opposition. And it's a matter of record. Okay? So I can tell you today, and I will challenge you, take some day and go into the Sanaro constituency and talk to the people and ask them, how do you see your MP? They will tell you, wish this man serves us forever. Because I have worked conscientiously and as hard as possible to continue to fly very high. in the Sanaro constituency. In elections, we don't get less than 75 to 80% plus.
But that chapter is closed now. You're no longer running as MP.
So
what are you doing after?
Yes, number one, I am a very loyal member of the National Democratic Congress. He's the president now. If he gives me any function, any role to play, I will serve him truly and loyally to the best of my ability. And I can also tell you that, Kafi, I'm a farmer. I farm.
What do you grow?
Oh, I grow maize, I grow millet, I grow a cattle ranch. In Bade. So
you're going to be busy.
Yes, I do. I have something doing. But like I said, they said that you must have head before you can chew corn.
You must have head before you can chew corn.
Yes. So the NDC is always available for all of us in our various capacities to serve. And that is what I want to appeal to my fellow NDC members. People should give the president space to bring in people that he believes can work for him in various capacities. When we are campaigning, we all campaign very well. But the campaign season is different from the governance. The governance thing requires a little bit of step. So, in whatever capacity His Excellency President Mahama finds anybody, please let us accept it in good faith, exhibit loyally, and work. The Dogombes have a saying that it is the man who throws his opponent in the fight who can swear his father. President Mahama has thrown his opponent down before. And let me correct that impression. President Nana Addo said earlier on that he won't hand over to President Mahama because he has beaten him twice. Is that not what he said? He forgot that President Mahama had beaten him twice before, earlier.
In 2012.
And 2012, they flattened him. So he lost twice to President Mahama before. So he conveniently chose to forget that. But never in the annals of our country's history has any that the good people of this country have rightly consigned him to history. And that in the history of our country, when they are ranking presidents, he will be lucky to come last.
Alhaji A.B.A Fuseni, MP, Sangnerigu.
Thank you very much. And
Empire, thank you.
Yes, I will end on this note. That you see, no matter how decorated a donkey is, it is still an ass. You can decorate the donkey with all the gold and ornaments. It will still be called an ass. And you can hide diamond in the thickest of hay for as long as it takes. On the day it is on earth, it will shine for everybody to acknowledge that it's a diamond. That is how President Mahama is. President Mahama is like the seed planted by the Almighty Allah. No matter the devastating nature of the drought, it can never destroy that seed. And that is how, in spite of everything that has been done to President Mahama, he has 1.7 million votes. 57 a mandate be given to somebody. He should tell Nana Akufo-Addo that he better go quietly and not invite the opprobrium and wrath of the people, because the good people of this country and posterity have shown him the judgment already, and that it doesn't matter. It is not the longevity of the chief that matters. It is the deeds he chalks during his reign. And so that is for us a lesson that Ghanaians have taught us. And we in the NDC are rightly guarded. Kafi, I can tell you that we are not going to take this mandate lightly. Because when Ghanaians are very conscious as NDC that we will live up to the expectation of the people and make sure that we deliver to the best of our ability and to their satisfaction.
Otherwise, they may just do it to you as well.
By the grace of Allah Almighty, it won't happen.
Thank you.